indigenous people in India are popularly called Adivasis, but state describes them scheduled tribes. The Adivasi population is about 100 million, more than 100 million, and it constitutes something about 8.5% of India's population. And the government of India has recognized something about 705 communities so far, but this list goes on increasing as they discover new communities over the time. So, and coming to the demography of Adivasi communities in India, largely, I mean, so we can say there are two major parts. One is mainland India, and the other is northeastern India. Okay, they are, I mean, constitutionally classified as fifth schedule and sixth schedule. That is how they are not described in the constitution. About 80% actually lives in fifth schedule areas, and about 10 to 12% in the northeast India. Means it's very difficult to actually to comprehend the number of communities and social stratification within the communities, the racial components, and the differences between the communities in India. They are huge actually. So within the community, again, you have so many, I mean, sub communities, right? Subsects, which are again very distinguished from the other community. I mean, so I can say within the Gond, there are many other sub communities. Within the Lambadas, again, there is many other sub communities like this. I mean, and they are not treated or considered as a separate communities. And from these, I mean, recent times there are growing assertion of the sub communities as well within the larger communities. So I mean, broadly we can say there are about 15 large communities in India, like Bhils, Gonds, Santals, Minas, Nayakdas, Oraos, Lambadis, Mundas, Khasis, Nagas, Baros, Khols, Varlis. These are major dominant communities. Particularly central India constitutes the major part. Madhya Pradesh, say Bihar, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Orissa, these states, and Maharashtra also, Telangana, Rajasthan, Gujarat, constitutes a major part of the Adivasi communities in India. Of course, Northeast India is almost 70 to 80% are not tribal, constitutes tribal population, or indigenous people. So yeah, this is what the broad demography of Indian indigenous communities in India. Yeah, the other question, why they are not considered as indigenous communities, is another question I think you asked. Of course, there is a lot of politics behind this. Although Indian government part of the UNO Declaration of Indigenous Communities' Rights, but the Indian government still declined that there is no indigenous existence of indigenous communities in India.